Imagine the exact moment when the weight of the world finally disappears from your shoulders, not as a fleeting relief, but as the beginning of an eternity where fear, pain, and death itself become mere shadows of a past that will never return. If you clicked on this video seeking to understand what Ellen White described about the new earth, the immediate and overwhelming answer is that your daily life will not be a state of static contemplation on distant clouds, but a vibrant, physically productive, and intellectually infinite existence where work is pure pleasure and learning never finds limits. She revealed with absolute clarity that the new earth is a world of tangible realities where we will build houses and inhabit them, plant vineyards and eat their fruit, living in such profound harmony with the Creator that nature itself will pulsate with a glory your eyes have never been able to process. This is the secret that religions often obscure with empty spiritualism. Heaven is a real place for real people, and the routine there will be the most fascinating journey of discovery you can conceive. Feel now the urgency of this promise. For what Ellen White describes is not merely a consolation for the afflicted, but the ultimate destiny of a humanity restored to its original purpose. Imagine waking up in a place where weariness doesn't exist, where every cell of your body vibrates with a youthful energy that never runs out, and where the first thought of your day is the face-to-face encounter with the one who gave everything so that you could be there. White's vision of daily life in the new earth is so vivid that it challenges our understanding limited by sin. It transports us to fields of indescribable green, crossed by living waters that reflect the light of a sun that never burns, but only illuminates and warms the soul. Have you ever stopped to think what it would be like to live a single day without the shadow of anxiety or without the clock dictating your every move toward exhaustion? Comment below if you feel your soul is weary of this world, and if this promise of a real and tangible life is what you most desire now, for understanding this reality is the first step to enduring the trials of the present. Ellen White's revelation is a warning that we are wasting time on trivialities while a kingdom of immeasurable glory is being prepared for hands that know the value of holy work and minds that desire pure knowledge. She describes how mental faculties will be expanded there, and human genius will reach heights that today seem impossible, without pride or exhaustion interrupting progress. Each day will be a new exploration of the treasures of the universe. Each interaction will be based on a love that knows no selfishness, and routine will be a constant flow of worship through action. What Ellen White saw in vision was not a poetic dream, but the technical description of a perfect society where the economy is one of generosity and politics is the government of divine love. This is the confirmation you needed. Life on the new earth will be a continuation of the life God planned in Eden, only now enriched by victory over evil and the experience of redemption. The contrast with our current reality is dark and necessary so that we may awaken from our spiritual slumber. While here we struggle for survival, there we will live for the expansion of being. While here flowers wither and love grows cold, there each petal is immortal and each embrace is eternal. This transition is not a myth. It's the only certainty that remains in a collapsing world. The impact of this truth should strike your heart with the force of a hurricane, clearing away doubts and instilling a hope that no one can steal. We are talking about walking through valleys where the fiercest animals play with children, where music is not just sound, but the very atmosphere we breathe, raising our thoughts to the throne of God at every moment. The daily routine will consist of interstellar journeys, in-depth studies of the history of the universe, and, above all, direct communion with beings who have never fallen, sharing with us the mysteries of creation. The intensity of this promise is what keeps the faithful standing amidst the flames of persecution, for they know that what awaits them is not a spiritual void, but a fertile land where every legitimate dream of happiness will be surpassed by the reality of divine presence. Can you visualize yourself in this scenario now? Can you smell the flowers that never die and hear the sound of Christ's voice calling your name to a new morning adventure? This is the shock of reality that the world tries to hide from you with cheap distractions and momentary pleasures. Daily life in the new earth is the climax of our story, the point where time merges with eternity and where our true identity finally blossoms without the scars of trauma. Ellen White was emphatic. Nothing beautiful in this world compares to the smallest wonder of that home. If you feel you don't belong here, it's because your heart already recognizes the vibrant frequency of the new earth. The mystery that many try to decipher is laid bare in the inspired pages. We will be beings of flesh and blood, with brilliant minds and pure hearts, occupied with the noblest tasks the cosmos can offer. Preparation for this lifestyle begins here, in the adjustment of our character and the attunement of our will to God's. Prepare yourself, because what comes next will further explore why this conflict we are experiencing today is so crucial for you to set foot on that heavenly grass and never look back with pain again. The conflict that tears apart our existence today is not a mere coincidence of political or social crises, but the final resistance of a decadent system against the overwhelming reality that Ellen White described with such intensity. Why is this vision of daily life in the new earth so decisive and at the same time so fiercely contested by the forces that try to keep you grounded? Because if you understand the depth of what awaits us, the currents of despair lose all their power. The central problem we face is that we have been conditioned to accept finitude and mediocrity as the only possible destiny, while prophetic revelation shows us that our future routine will be the full development of talents that are now buried under the rubble of mere survival. In the new earth, the conflict between time and fulfillment disappears. Ellen White details that the greatest minds and the purest hearts will dedicate themselves to unraveling the mysteries of science and creation without the fear that old age will interrupt their learning. Imagine the impact this will have on your soul. Today, you begin a project and fear you won't finish it. You start a study and your memory fails. You love someone and separation is a constant threat. In the world to come, this conflict is annihilated. Development will be ever-increasing and infinite. She writes that all the treasures of the universe will be open to the study of God's redeemed. With wings that never tire, we will travel to distant worlds that today are only points of light in telescopes, learning from beings who have never known sin. The intensity of this message lies in the fact that heaven is not a retreat for the lazy, but a center of incessant and electrifying activity. Work, which here is a burden and a curse, will be restored there as the highest form of expression and worship. Have you ever felt that deep frustration of having immense potential, but being stuck in a job that drains your energy and doesn't make sense for your eternal purpose? This is the conflict that the new earth resolves. There, every activity will be an extension of your love for the Creator and for your neighbor. White tells us that the redeemed will engage in branches of work that would be impossible here, creating and cultivating with a perfection that reflects divine glory itself. This is the crucial part. Their routine will be a constant ascent. There will be no boredom, no empty repetition. Each morning will bring a new secret of the universe to be discovered, a new melody to be composed, a new depth of love to be explored. But here lies the urgent warning. This life is not for those who are content with the crumbs of this world. There is a spiritual barrier that tries to blind their eyes to this glory, whispering that this is just a metaphor or a psychological consolation. It is not. It is the physical and literal reality that awaits those who overcome the conflict of character. Reflect now and be honest with yourself in the comments. What area of your life today seems most like a desert of meaning, where you feel your potential is being wasted, knowing that in the new earth, This same area will be transformed into a garden of infinite achievements, changes how you face your suffering now. Ellen White's message is a wake-up call against the anesthesia of materialism. She shows us that daily life will be punctuated by gatherings of indescribable joy, where the story of redemption will be the subject of conversations that will last for centuries, never losing their freshness. The intensity increases when we realize that the greatest privilege of that routine will not only be the beauty of the place or the intelligence of the occupations, but the physical proximity to the source of all life. Walking with Jesus through the gardens of the new earth, asking questions of the Master of Masters, and receiving answers that illuminate entire galaxies will be the pinnacle of each day. The current conflict is a preparation for this frequency of existence. If we cannot bear the light of truth now, how will we bear the glory face to face? The development of White's message leads us to understand that the new earth is the place where justice and peace kiss in daily practice. There will be no need for imposed laws, for the law of God will be written in every heartbeat. The routine will be one of absolute freedom, for the desires of each inhabitant will be in perfect harmony with the common good and the honor of God. The decisive choice you face today is whether you want to continue investing in a world that is falling apart, or whether you will begin to live today with the mindset of a citizen of this new homeland. The intensity of life there will be so great that our present life will seem like a confused and pale dream upon waking. Ellen White does not soften the reality. The path to this glorious routine demands a transformation that begins now at the center of your being, in the core of your will. Life in the new earth will be vibrant because we will finally be who we were created to be. The conflict between wanting and doing, which so anguishes us, will be replaced by a floating and powerful harmony. Every gesture, every word, and every scientific discovery in eternity will be acts of praise. We are approaching the climax of this journey, and you need to understand that preparing for this magnificent routine is not a religious burden, but the beginning of your liberation. What would you do today if you knew that every effort toward holiness is a rehearsal for ruling worlds and exploring the far reaches of space with God Himself as your personal guide? That is the gravity of the choice. That is the magnitude of what is at stake as the days of this old world draw to a close. The transformation you so desperately seek doesn't begin when your feet touch the soil of the new earth, but the very moment you decide that this world is no longer your home and that your character needs to be attuned to the frequency of eternity. Ellen White categorically states that heaven begins here, and the routine of glory we have described so far demands a radical commitment from you today. To live that daily life of infinite discoveries and joyful work, we need to allow the Holy Spirit to remove from us now all selfishness, all destructive haste, and all pride that prevents us from seeing our neighbor as a co-heir of glory. The practical preparation consists of looking at your hands and your mind and asking, what am I cultivating today that will have value there? The climax of this promise is the moment when the last tear is wiped away, not by a mechanical process, but by the personal touch of Christ, who will welcome us into a routine where love is the only currency and the divine presence is the very air we breathe. Imagine yourself now, free from all chronic pain, all psychological trauma, and all physical limitations, running through fields that have never known drought and embracing loved ones whom death had stolen. This is the ultimate answer to your emptiness. You were made for infinity, and nothing less than the new earth can quench the thirst of your soul. Ellen White encourages us to fix our eyes on this reality so that present afflictions seem light and momentary. The closing of this message is not just the end of a video, but an urgent appeal to your heart. The time for preparation is running out, and the door to eternity is about to open to reveal a world where each day will be better than the last for all eternity. Are you ready to abandon the mediocrity of this system and surrender completely to the one who is preparing your place in those mansions? The decision you make in the silence of your mind now will determine whether you will be a spectator or an inhabitant of this new physical and tangible reality. If you feel that this call has ignited your hope, don't keep it to yourself. Comment now, "I will be there," as a seal of your decision so that we can unite in a community of hope awaiting the King's return. This knowledge is the most valuable treasure you could receive. Therefore, if this script touched your soul and brought clarity about your future, leave your like so that this light reaches more people lost in the darkness of nihilism. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring together the depths of prophetic revelations, and share this video with someone who desperately needs a reason to keep fighting. Life on the new earth is not a fable. It is your destiny planned since the foundation of the world. Live from today with the brilliance of eternity in your eyes and the certainty that the best of your story has not yet begun. We'll see you there, where the day never ends and where joy is our eternal routine. May the God of hope guide each of your steps until the dream becomes our ultimate reality.